Got it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Setting up for meeting and cool, we're live.
Oh, we've been.
Oh, well, then do.
Welcome to talk about Paint Club. I am dysfunctional, and this is my co-host.
I'm Rick Strohmeyer, and this is my Nexus event. No, that is. Oh, I think it's gone. Whatever. All right. So
Did you just name this the next? What did you just name it? The Nexus moment.
Event. Nexus event, like in Loki, when they have to go prune trees because of.
Ooh, Jason's in the house.
Hey, all right. Jason.
I love that it says there's 2 viewers, but I'm one of the viewers, so I could read it.
There you go. Hey, all right. Hi, Jason. All right. I'm going to move the chat thing all the way over here. I was telling him I was doing a live stream sometime this week, and
it was yesterday.
He was like, oh, yeah. Was it yesterday? Did you watch me?
No, because you texted me and asked me if I wanted to be in it, but I was sleeping.
Oh, well. Okay. But so I was he's like, oh, you just need to pay attention to the comments. I'm like, yeah, it's partly because I haven't made the big, we've made the jump to YouTube, but I haven't made the big, like, I'll make it look all fancy like a news.
You know what? It's my fault though, because like even when we had it on Facebook, I always had the iPad and my phone next to each other so I could go doot doot.
Yeah,
I dropped the ball on the co-hosting.
I was like, I have a hard time making eye contact with people. It's probably because I'm on the spectrum. So like the camera's here, the monitor's over here, and then the comments are way over there. So I'm like, oh, well, if I just put the comments on the monitor, I might actually look at it instead of like not making eye contact with the computer or the camera. So like,
and inherently you've learned to go like this, like as I'm looking at you right now, because I'm looking at your eyes. But then when you're hosting and doing things like that, you need to talk like this as if I'm talking to you directly in your eyes, because if I'm not, I'm talking to you like this and it looks like I'm looking down your shirt. And no offense, I'm not trying to do all that. No. I hate you so much because you doing that. I've had songs from Encanto stuck in my head like all week because Disney freak over here, and I had Bruno. What?
Huh? No. Somebody, Jason said he sees a dumpster fire. I'm like, yeah, it's right there.
Oh, that's me. Oh yeah, it's there's 3 of them on screen. That song, I don't know if you've seen it, but I had the Bruno song stuck in my head, and now I have, just because you did this, I have the Strong Sister song, No Pressure.
Did you know Bruno's Mars did some Sesame Street songs?
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and so did Ash. So yeah, we every once in a while we play. I should have done that yesterday. Anyway, sometimes we play one of the Bruno Mars songs. They did a couple, and then and there's an Usher ABC song that we play every once in a while. That's pretty good too, because it's movements with every letter has its own movement. So like the G is super dumb, but everything else is really good.
Okay, before we start talking, like
I use dumb, but whatever.
Before we talk like any Paint Club stuff.
What's that?
Because you mentioned it. Have you seen the Elmo and the Rocco stuff going on?
No, but I've also I'm like, all right, why are we picking on Muppets?
No, they're not. They're calling Elmo a G because his friend or whatever, I don't know her name. I don't watch Sesame Street. I don't have kids. And he's sitting there, like, she's like, this is my friend, Rocco, and it's a rock. and Elmo's just getting tired of this bitch of shit because like everything is just going like, well, you can't because Rocco, because you can't. And so the last thing that happened was he wanted a cookie. And she said, no, Elmo, Rocco wants that cookie. And he just lost it. Was like, Rocco's a rock. He's not even alive. And it was just like, Elmo just went ham. And everyone's just calling him a G. I think I saw one meme where like they played it. And at the end, they put the sunglasses on him.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's so true.
I know of the event. I've just not seen it. And it's like,
I'm not funny enough to say it. You need to see it yourself.
He's not the first Muppet to get scrutinized this year either. It's like, what kind of shit?
Scrutinized? Because I see everybody being like, Elmo's a G.
Yeah, no, there's some uppityness about him being like, oh, he lost his cool. And I'm like, really?
Are the parents getting mad about it? Because the parents need to relax.
I don't know. I have seen some fervor on the internet, and I'm just like, really? Like, we're gonna get mad at Big Bird for getting a booster, for getting a vaccine. We're gonna get mad at Elmo for losing losing his shit on a rock. We got mad at Cookie Monster a few years ago for just eating cookies. Instead of it being, and now it's a sometimes treat. And like me and a coworker have always been like, it's a sometimes treat now because of that. So like, yeah, like
back in the late 90s or like early 2000s, I can't remember when it was, VH1 did this like thing where it was like talking about like the ethnicities of people, like, did you know? And like one of them was like, did you know Linda Carter was part Mexican? And I was like, what? And like all that nonsense. And they started saying like the different ethnicities of the puppets on Sesame Street, and all the like comedians and stuff that are trying to like guess are like, is this real? And they're like, yeah, they actually are listed as whatever. And I think Big Bird's Vietnamese. I can't remember now. I'm so sorry, Jason, because now I'm gonna Google it while we're doing the rest of this.
But it's funny, like if you actually looked up like Big Bird from different countries, the way their PBS or their Sesame Street runs, Big Bird looks very different in different countries. Right? He's not always yellow. Yeah, it's super trippy. It's cool. Like you got whatever local flavor. Welcome to Puppet Talk.
At least it's better than me having that fucking Bruno song stuck in my head. Oh my god.
Don't give up. All right. So, oh shit. So before we just do a deep dive into well, we'll start the deep dive and then go from there. All right. So Nicole, what are you drinking while we go into this rabbit hole? Wow, how much water?
90 ounces.
I do love that jug.
Thank you. I am not at the right hour, but I'm not at the level of being able to actually consume this much in a day yet. Like I've always been really bad with water, so I'm not trying to like fucking like die or like make myself sick. So I've been increasing day by day by day so I can get to the point of doing what's the proper amount of water. We could thank Big C. Shout out to Big C for this shit, because he actually does his full one. And for women, it's a little bit less than men. So his is a little bit bigger. And he chugs through that shit like hardcore. And if he has to like go somewhere, and like when we did our long drive, I remember like he was like either all the way done or almost done with it before we even like started the drive.
I need to get one of those.
That's gold. That's gold. You know, like what? And I like it because look, at 8 a.m. you're ready to go. I'll read it to you. 8 a.m. you're ready to go. 10 a.m. you need to drink more. 12 p.m. keep it up. 2 p.m. yes, you can. 4 p.m. No excuses. 6 p.m. almost there, and then 8 p.m. treat yourself.
Ooh, there you go.
I'll link you to it. It's on Amazon. It was not that much money.
Okay. We
And there's a straw.
And there's a straw. There you go. No, like I go through a lot of water at work, for various reasons, but yeah, like water is key. All right, so I'm drinking dinner. So I've got a
I was about to ask you
tropical.
for the protein shake. I fucking hate you.
Yep, it's been in the fridge. I was like, we ate a late. Actually, yes, we ate lunch with Alicia's folks, and it's up until like half hour ago. It's been sitting like just there, and it's like I don't want to eat. I'm like, okay, when I finish the show, I'm going to be starving, and then it's going to be too late. So I'm like, just drink this and be done with it. Put your calories in, and then when I'm done with this, I can have the other drink, which will be Jones Soda bubble gum. So,
I've always wanted to like soda because of Jones.
so yeah, So I can't find that here. So I bought a few different packs when I was in Texas, and I was like, well, we'll see what happens. So yeah, where are we going with this? All right. So before we go, this has been a crazy week. I planned on doing like a couple more than one live stream this week. And last night it sucked. Whatever my internet connection was, it was chopping out the audio for everybody. So people were asking me questions and I couldn't answer them. And then people kept leaving because they were blaming their connection. It's like, no, it's me. I'm pretty certain it's me. But so yeah, it was just a rough week. Yesterday was actually the best day of the week, or probably one of the best days at work in a long time. But Thursday was absurd. And it was at one point in time, sometime during the day, I had messaged Nicole and I was like, oh my God. And it's not like I dumped on her like all this crap, but I was like, this is a rough day. And Nicole gave me replied with 3 words, and I really appreciate it. All she did was ask, are you safe? And I was like, and by that time I was like, I'm chilling out in a different room with one of the kids doing a swing. And I was like, yeah, I'm safe. And I really appreciate that.
I love you, Rick. You know that.
Better than love. Because I was like, man, yes, I'm safe. And it's not like it was a hard day where like I got bitten and blood was drawn, or I had my precious painting hand broken again, or I had a runner. Just like some compounding, I didn't sleep well the night before, and then just like a lot of compounding sounds, and then having to do with this colossal bag of crap, literally. And it's just like, ooh, I'm done. And yeah, but my boss and I powered through, and everything's cool.
Good, I'm glad.
And then yesterday was the last day for one of our kids, and his mom brought in food for us, which was super nice. Like, so once upon a time when we were celebrating his birthday, his mom was like, oh, I want to bring in some stuff for his birthday. So she brought in these, can't see my hands because they're so big, but she brought in these big foil pans of rice, fried rice, chicken wings, egg rolls, and samosas. Samosas are not the boozy champagne thing. They're the triangular deep fried potato curry things. And yeah, samosas. And it was amazing. And because it was his last day yesterday, she brought in fried rice, she brought in egg rolls, she brought in chicken wings. And I was like, and I brought in a Tupperware container so I could take some stuff home, because she brought so much last time. It was like pretty much a guarantee that she's going to repeat that, and she did. So the fortunate thing is that, yeah, so Alicia gets to partake in it, because
Yay.
so yeah, the egg
Can
rolls.
I have some egg rolls, please?
No, you may not.
Well, I
So
ordered
these are
tacos for dinner and they fucked it up. So I'd like your advice.
so we have like very a lot of Asian community, different Asian cultures in St. Paul. We have the Hmong, Hmong. We have the Karen, Karen. We have, oh gosh, we have Vietnamese. We have Korean. We have. I'm going to forget some, and all various types of food. All right, and all their food is similar, but there's enough overlap that it's like, oh, an egg roll is going to kind of look like an egg roll, but there's going to be different stuff in there. And the Hmong egg rolls, they don't put a lot of cabbage in them. They put noodles. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So it's a treat. And
So
they're
good.
they're different and delicious, and I love them. Like
I'm
these are
so
definitely not
sorry now.
these are definitely not the egg rolls you get at a Chinese restaurant, and it's amazing. So we had a bunch of those. We had all kinds of crap, and it was just super nice. And it's like we had a couple kids out yesterday because it's so freaking cold. I imagine the parents just said, "Screw it, we're not going to the bus stop." But yeah, so we had like 3 of our 9 kids were out yesterday. We had this really nice banquet. I had gotten up a little early so I can get my boss and I some coffee, fancy coffee, because we earned it the day before. And I was like, and I slept well. The back pain meds were working because the back didn't hurt. I was just like, wow, this is a great day. And just kept on going. I was pretty happy about that. So
And now
yeah,
it's the
good vibes.
weekend.
And now it's the weekend, but it's like this day has gone by so dang quick that I'm like, holy crap. We sat down and watched this James Cameron underwater adventure thing. And I'm like, holy crap, I have to go. So, like,
Yeah,
I got up
when
at
I
like,
no go. Sorry.
well,
There's a weird pause, and I'm like, ooh.
I'm just gonna be rambling. Like,
and
I got
ramble.
up. I got up early so we could have so I could be ready for Alicia's folks to show up. So then we could have Thai food, and her folks liked it. And so we had Thai food that we had it from a restaurant that they've never had before, and they liked it, which was good. Then we went and saw her niece play a hockey game. Came back here, and all of a sudden it's like, holy crap, it's time to go.
Something really sad happened in my town with hockey.
What's up?
This kid, I don't like making like sad stuff, but my dad called me this morning because of course, this. If my dad's watching in the future, you fucked up. His timing and everything in between is like terrible, and his storytelling is just. At this point, I kind of have a list of I have a game now where I'm just like, what can he do today? And he called me this morning to tell me that somebody playing hockey in town, like the 2 schools, the 2 like private schools, Sacred Heart and Brunswick, were playing hockey, and this kid fell, and like this other kid was already like coming like that way, and he tried to stop in time, but he couldn't, and he belayed to the head, and the kid died.
Oh, gross.
And I'm like, why would you call me to tell who called hey, guess what? I'm like, and then I was like, that's awful. Why would you do that? And he goes, I'm sorry, you're right. And then he goes, oh, well, did you hear Sidney Poitier died? I'm like, you are not fucking helping yourself. You're just following it up. He's like, well, you'll call me when celebrity, you'll not call him. I'll text him, if it's somebody he knows, when John Madden died, I was like, because that was my coach. And I was like, he's like, but you do that to me. I'm like, yeah, but you just followed it up after a really tragic, fucked up story.
Wow.
What? To this day, I'm just like, I don't understand you. But seriously, like much love to that kid's family and to the other kid's family, because I'm sure all
my
of
gosh, that's great.
lots
Oh yeah.
that's just so sad. I can't even think about like what that would feel like for the families, not
Right. That's got to be rough.
just so you know, for me at least, having a straw always makes me drink my drinks faster. I don't know why that is. I think it has something to do with my like oral fixation issues from like when I was a smoker and stuff like that, like cigarette smoker. And like I used to chew on my
Yeah.
nails a lot, chew on pencils and stuff like that. So I'll do this and I'll just like, if there's water, I'm like, okay, might as well. How is it? How's the Jones?
Oh, it's good. No, the last inch of my thing is gross because there's like whatever clumpy fruits at the bottom. I don't like that. So I'm like, 80%. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I remember when I was little, my
Once,
mom would strain my orange juice for me, and people were like, "You are so spoiled." I'm like,
me too. I cannot
I
stand pulp in my fucking juice. No way.
there's no part of me that wants to eat things that I'm trying like while drinking.
Well, but like
Or get
I
them
like
stuck in
textures in my,
teeth.
but I like textures in my food. So like, the more textures in a piece of sushi, the better. Almost. It's like I really love having a lot of
I
textures in my food.
just so you know, because you've talked about food, I'm reordering dinner because of the fact that Grubhub, if the restaurant fucks up, they will refund you.
Okay.
And they completely fucked up. I'm so upset. And I didn't order anything difficult. It was just like beef taco, or not beef, like steak tacos. And they put just steak and lettuce on the taco. And it said that there was like 10 other things on it. Who wants to eat that?
That's crazy.
I mean, I
My
would.
I'll share this with the group. I think I put it on one of the collectors groups that we're on. The one that Fanny Urbina, hope I didn't say that wrong. Fanny runs. She was like, "Oh, it's Collector Sunday. What did you collect?" I've shared this
CTC.
picture of this. Yes, and I was like, I collected tacos this week because I got this like 2 weeks ago. I got this taco platter in Albuquerque, and it like I couldn't decide which tacos to order when we walked in, and I was like, "How about we just get? Can I just buy this and we'll all eat these?" And my buddies were like, "Yeah, sure." So one of every taco. So like 2 disappointing ones in that bunch, but yeah, still pretty good.
There's this other taco place like nearby that I would order from, and this sounds ridiculous. Like, okay, I have a lot of issues with foods, and I don't know where this came from, because like my family was not the kind that was like, oh yeah, you can have whatever you want. It was like, this is dinner. You're not going to eat it. And eventually, because I definitely like their whole, you're not going to eat it, then you're not going to eat. I'd be like, cool. And I'd wait until breakfast. And then of course, like they were like, okay, this isn't good. So they would feed me like soup and shit. Like if I drink soup, whatever. And like, I've always had issues though with food. Like if the expiration date says it's tomorrow, I won't eat it. It's all here. I know that. I know.
It's not always all there, but like my thing here, it says like it was good 2 weeks ago. I'm like, it's so chemically processed. I'm gonna roll those dice.
Like,
but
just this.
No, I'm with you. Last year at Christmas, somebody wanted me to drink orange juice that she had bought, and like, do you like orange juice? I do. Well, drink this. I don't want it to go bad. Well, it had already gone bad, but I hadn't realized until afterwards, till I'm puking. So, yeah.
I had an orange juice. So I forgot what else was in it. Like, it's this Italian drink up the street from me, and the whole time I'm like sipping on it, I was like, this tastes really bitter. Like there's something wrong. Maybe it's my taste buds right now because I'm also eating like spicy squid ink pasta. But there's something
How's
really
that?
wrong. The pasta was amazing.
Is it black? That's cool.
Yeah, you'd want to make everything if like like
Really?
that. You'd be like rock and roll pasta, and it was so good. But like the drink made me want to die. And afterwards, when I got home, I was like, I didn't throw up, but I just felt so sick. And I kept thinking, I know for a fact that it wasn't the pasta because that shit was amazing.
Yeah.
And even like the pieces of oh god, what's the not it's not lobster, it's not shrimp, it's the one that's like in between.
Crab?
No, it starts with an L. Now I'm going back to the comments of our YouTube because I know for a fact that Jason's gonna know. Langoustine.
Okay.
They had like pieces of langoustine in it, and like that didn't taste bad. Everything was fine. And I was like, fuck this orange juice. I haven't had orange juice since. So like I said, I have food issues here. And there's this taco place that's around the corner. And when I lived in Stanford, I would get their chain up there. I would get their tacos, but I will never get them here because they had a hepatitis B.
Oh, that's crazy.
They had a hepatitis something outbreak twice.
Okay.
And I was like, ouch. I don't care if it's been 3 years. I will never eat food from here. And it's because of this, and I know it, but right. I don't care because you know what? My ass will never get hepatitis from this restaurant.
I'm vaccinated.
From hepatitis?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's at least, I think it's a Hep C.
Is there?
But the district wanted everybody to be vaccinated if you have to work with a certain level of they didn't mandate it, but they're like, we recommend you do this, and it's free. So yeah, like
I should say
like almost every vaccine that's available is free on my health care insurance because they'd rather pay for your vaccination than your hospitalization. So yeah, like I got my whooping cough. I got my tetanus renewed a few years ago, and they were like, "Oh, there's a whooping cough chaser in it." Like, what?
Chaser?
Like, holy shit! That's
sorry.
yeah, because they put
sounds so dramatic,
right? And I'm like, what the hell is it? That's a thing. And they're like, yeah, it's coming back around because of this. We don't talk politics here. But it's like, oh crap. So yeah. They then I messaged my buddy who works for Texas Department of Health, and she's like, yeah, it's coming around because of this. Like, holy shit.
Big man around the mountain.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh my god, can we start singing that about all of the things I keep up? I need you to help me pick my food because I'm sorry, Paint Club, because I can't do this. Do I want Asian or Italian? And by Asian, I mean I'm going to therefore break that down in my own head by myself without your help, but there are multiple options.
Okay, is the Italian place locally owned or is it like a chain?
Locally owned.
Okay.
I want noodles or pasta. I'm basically just not knowing which.
How about ravioli or tortellini? That's my go-to.
Okay, this place has fucking short rib ravioli, and I was looking at that, and I was going,
short rib ravioli. That sounds delightful.
That sounds like that's what I'm buying. Thank you.
Ta-da.
All right, this is what Paint Club's all about.
The brainstorming. That's why we're here. All right.
Friendship.
So, Nicole.
Hi.
I'm gonna ask you first, and then I'm just gonna ramble on for a little while. What have you been doing lately?
Oh, Yay, I could say it. I was like, wait, I don't remember. I've been organizing everything,
Okay.
like to make it conducive to surgery. So I think I talked about it last year about like how I paint or do stuff while I'm like laid up with like, bringing like the table around, keeping my foot like, out and like having, the stuff like that. But I always need to like situate everything like in a way that is easy for me to pick up or whatever have you. So I have been put a lot and priming a lot of things. So I have stuff to work on. So I primed tech, I primed nano, I primed one of the I always say it wrong, the rabots.
Oh,
Rabbit.
Rabot. I think it's the Rabots.
I think that I always say it wrong, and then someone's like, "That's not how you say it," and I'm like, "I'm sorry." What else did I have? I forgot the other one. I primed. Oh, the Boo figure, the one that goes like this, and the mask. I primed like 2 pieces from Dave Sculpt's toys because the stuff that we did on Booze and Buddies, where we had the Christmas stuff. I boxed up all of my stuff that needs to get the fuck out of my house, like and shipped before I'm unable to do anything. Because I haven't left the house. Like I left the house like once since I had my booster or whatever the other day, but briefly. Like, and that was because I needed to go get like my meds or whatever. But I haven't left the house because I'm not supposed to until I have my COVID test for the surgery. So it's just been a lot of cleaning. And I even like, I told you, I was like, I stopped and was like, I haven't created anything. And then I was
yeah, but you got your ready
so
kit. You got your rainy day activity kit set up. So
yeah, and I was actually pretty stoked about it. I did a test cast of the heart mold with a different technique because Brandon showed me a few different ways to try to get the bubbles out of like one specific area that it locks into. And it's to, do the powder, like baby powder or like cornstarch, whatever, like and tap. And I used baby powder yesterday. I'm going to use Gold Bond powder today or tonight. And then I'm going to use cornstarch to see what's the best method to keep that shit in the room. So I did one test cast, which was pretty cool with my new pigments, which I was super excited about because it'll actually let me sort of do that like alcohol ink drop technique with the swirls that I did in like that gummy bear piece a few years ago. And when I realized that, I was like, like I had a moment because it was this morning because I fell asleep, forgot it was in the pot, and I went to take it out and I was like, it didn't do it enough because I didn't use my like injector, but I was like just super excited. And the last thing, I guess, because it's not going to be my technique, obviously, Lucy and I have officially decided and are announcing Pride in Art Year 2.
Oh, very cool.
At my plastic art, we will have the date in June for full, hopefully next week.
Okay.
Hopefully.
That sounds cool.
If not, like 2 weeks. We gotta talk to my plastic art first.
All right.
Whatever
Very
they
cool.
say, we'll do.
Okay.
Yeah. That's it.
That sounds cool.
That's what
I'm a little jealous on your rabots because I haven't been able to get my hand. I don't have my hands on one yet. But
did they send you one?
Yeah. No. So
they had this like form thing where it like
I know I sat on it. This is my own damn fault. So I
You know,
accept the
I did it
idea.
like the last second.
I accept the idea that I sat on it. So
You
I
know
accept
what
the
though?
idea that I'm like, I wish I had my hands on one, but you know, it is
They
what it is
think
when
of
you.
they think like you.
What's that?
Look at how they shipped.
Oh, that is pretty cool.
Tube.
Tube. You know, I ended up sending a. I didn't do that for a Megatech that went across the ocean, and I kicked myself repeatedly when it got crushed. So, yeah, I dropped my soda cap. I'm sorry.
I gotta go back to the things that I didn't ever answer while I was looking at my food. So
Oh, all right.
pulp is the
Professional
healthiest
grade over
part.
here.
You are correct. I just don't like to drink it. If I'm making like food or whatever in it, I will. That's fine. Or if I'm like juicing or if I'm blending like orange, that's fine too. When I was little, I used to actually have a straw that you jam into the orange and just drink the orange like straight. Right. But don't tell me how to fucking drink my oranges.
Oh, I can't.
And I had
I've
pho.
never liked it.
I had pho yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Was yesterday? No, yesterday was Friday. I had pho Thursday. Thank you.
Pho.
I had it Thursday, and the place around here that makes it kind of strange. It's a Thai place, so I don't. It just makes it. I shouldn't say strange. It's strange for my taste buds. It's not like what I'm used to. And they put cooked carrots in it, and I don't like the flavor of cooked carrots. And a lot of times that permeates the entire like broth. That's it. And talcum powder. I'll buy that too. I have an Amazon order I need to like enter. So
I sent you a link about how the craftsman addresses bubbles. So
I have been hooked on him like white on rice because of you. And I also, oh wait. I found my AirPods.
There you go. Yeah, I have watched his whole catalog, and I watch other rewatch parts of it. 'Cause I'm a patron. Like,
can you hear me through
I don't
these?
do. Yep. Mm-hmm. So I use these because I was on like the Bullet Punk show in the near the very beginning of when Carla was doing that, and I was on with the owner of Devil Toys, and I noticed he was wearing them, and so at one point in time I was like, how do you like those for this? He's like, they work. I'm like, okay, deal. So, I'm like, I got them free with the computer, so I'm going to use them until I lose them.
I found them in a random bag, and I was like, because they've been gone since like the entire time since I moved, because I couldn't figure out what bag they were in.
Problem with these is that they're so small that I do spend part of my day, and it might only be as low as a minute, and it might be as much as 10, and where I have to say, where are my damn headphones? And like, because I have like big ass skull candy headphones.
Ooh.
And I like them a lot. It looks a little goofy having them when you're showing live, and the problem.
Do you have them near you?
Yeah, they're right there.
Can I see them?
What I don't like about them is, so these are an early version, and they don't have a microphone. You have to have the microphone plugs in. These are actually an earlier version than Alicia's. So the microphone, you have to plug it in there. And so I don't know where mine is. I borrow Alicia's microphone cable. What I really don't like about them is this is where the charging port is, right here on the inside up. So where my middle finger is where the charging port is. It's terrible. I got Alicia
That's
a
so
version of these.
pointless.
It is pretty it means you can't use them when you're charging them. The model that I got Alicia, they've rectified that and made it easier accessibility. But yeah, this is ridiculous. And then the other part, so like as good as there are 3 things I don't like about them. One, the microphone that's easily lost, the inaccessible charging port, and then this that is covered in tape is a blue light that is always flashing when it's in use. So if I want to chill,
nope.
So so it's got tape on it, a piece of gaffing tape over it, because if I lay down in bed, it flashes on Alicia all night long.
You know what? If you're ever mad at her though, you should do that.
I'm never mad at her.
I know that's the problem. So it'll never happen.
It's got the volume control over here, and the volume control you can actually do. You can with just 2 buttons, you can do a couple things. You do other things besides just control the volume, because you can advance or songs and stuff. But like, yeah, for the money at the time, totally worth it.
I was given what are the brand Harman Kardon headphones like ages ago, but that's because I worked for a market research company like for years and years and years and years, and they did like a focus group where people got to they had to try out the headphones and stuff like that. And it was so funny because I guess like the first group of people didn't get it, but the second group of people, the guy was just like, fuck it, you want to keep them? And I was like, yeah. So at the end, when he was like leaving, I was the one who was closing, and my coworker was there, and he turns to us and he goes, "You guys want headphones?" And I'm like, "Yeah,
sure." So one more to lose.
He gave me the over-ear ones, and he gave me they weren't like this. They were like regular plug-in, because it was like 8 years ago. It was a while ago. So it was like, plug-in buds. And I looked it up when I got home to see like how much they were, because they were on the market, and it was like $600 in headphones. And I was like, and they were $350 headphones. The ones that went on the over-ear ones are $400. And were they the Bluetooth ones? I think so. But all I kept thinking was, why? Thank you, but why?
Right. Yeah, these are Bluetooth, and they hold a charge like a champ, and they last for a couple hours. And once they're over your ears, you don't hear much. And I like that. My head gets hot sometimes, and I can't wear them when I airbrush because it gets in the way of the respirator. All right, so Jason asked what the homework was this week. We don't have one.
Oh, tell him.
Homework is a device for when we on the last week of each broadcast month. So it's given out on the third Saturday of each month, or second if for whatever reason we won't have a third. But typically we'll give the heads up. So next week there'll be a homework assignment. We haven't figured out what it is. So yeah.
I think I have an idea, and I think I should be the one that's able to pick it, since I'll be the one who just came out of surgery.
Well, okay, we'll let you have it. We'll let you have it. All right. So for this week, man, it's been a rough week. I haven't gotten my painting legs back, and I can't say I lost them, but I did. Like before we went on break. So this is cool. I've been painting. This is the second of 2 for a customer client. of a unicorno, and I took the head off so I could paint the mane easier. But look at that red. It's a dope ass metallic blend.
I really need
like
an
I fit-
airbrush.
So, and I'm gonna be testing out a new airbrush next this week, and we can discuss that too. But yeah,
Now
so
that I have
laid
the new
this out.
compressor.
No. So I'm doing something that's kind of self-contained. I'll show you when I get it. We'll see if I like it.
I love your wink that you do. like, it's like real quick, like no one sees it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and then
like,
you do that.
I put a panda face on his front. So it's a panda in a unicorno suit. And yeah, I thought I'd jewel the eyes, make those look. Come on, dude, work. How fun is that document camera when he doesn't want to pick it up?
Ooh.
There we go.
I see it.
How's
I
that
see
look?
it. Yeah.
Oh, cool. So we got the unicorno.
Wait, so is that like inside or is that like
straight up sculpt?
The way that it looks like with that angle, it looked like you drilled and stuck the eye in, which is super cool.
Good. Good.
Like it looked like
let's see, what else we got?
faceted.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
So what else we got? Well, I showed the Godzilla off last week, so I was pretty happy with that. I have a Megatech that I started. This was actually part of the homework that didn't get finished, but here's the head for the Megatech that I was painting. I was painting kind of live. I was painting live yesterday, and I sketched out like where
What?
and
That
that's
is
where
so fucking cool.
So I sketched out where I wanted the light effects to be, like on the monitor there, on the eyes, on the top of the head, and I just painted it black, brown, and a little bit of a light color, just to be like, well, that's where the light part's going to be. And I'm not sure.
I like it.
Thank you. I like it. I'm not sure how much more I want to weather to it. I was thinking I would just go like
Here, hold on. Bring
hog
it
on
closer to you. Bring it closer to you. Yeah, but hold. Yeah, no, your hands are covering the whole thing.
That's because I'm holding up one of the pieces because it all
I
comes
know.
apart.
No.
So like the idea is to add some washes to it to make it a little more rugged, but I have one over there that I was like, well, that's exactly what I would be doing to this one, and I don't want to repeat it. So I think there's going to be a little bit of washing to it, but not much.
I was gonna say,
So
if you do
I'm just
anything, like just do like a little zhuzh, because I really like
a little rouge.
I like that it's not simple, so I don't like using simplicity. That's not the word. I like
Right.
it's dynamic factor. That's not the word either.
I'm digging it more now that like once I made a couple color choices like right before I sent you the link to join the show, and I was like, all right, I need to do this, and I wrote it down, and then I need to do this and this, and I'm like, okay. Like, to me, all my toys suck until they're done. But there is an idea of
Why do you think that?
well, it's just like it just does. I think it sucks until it gets done. Or it's like once you get past the 50% mark. Okay, so like, you know what would go good in here? Rum or bubblegum schnapps. So let me give you an example. This is the other thing that I've been working on, right?
There's the Shenron.
The Shenron with the Pokemon, the panda corn. Yeah, I'm going with that. So here's the Shenron that I'm painting with the Pokemon color scheme, and I like it now. So it's beyond the 50%. It's beyond the 50% mark. So like you get to a point where, you spray it with the nice color and you're like, oh, that looks cool. And then you start splotching whatever base colors on, and it's like, oh, that part looks crappy. That part looks okay, but the crappy part outweighs the cool part. And it looks like shit, which is why a lot of toys set up on limbo, because it's like they haven't gotten past that halfway point yet. And which is one of the things that's been like an ongoing
showing works in progress.
Yeah. So this, I have a list of things to do to get it done, which that'll be talked about later. But it's like, once I'm in the listing stage, it's pretty much like the home stretch. So I have like I have the base, to me, it's like, okay, I have the prime stage, the base coat stage. Then I have the it sucks stage. Because it's like, it's the it sucks stage is the 50%, because it's halfway done, or probably halfway done, and it doesn't look the way I envision it, but it's like it's still in progress. But at that moment, it sucks, and so being able to get it past that 50% stage is just like, cool, we're there. So yeah, this is like, it's sitting there. I have a list of a dozen things that have to get done, and once I start on those, it's boom, boom, boom. It gets it'll get pushed along. So,
do you know what
yeah.
you're gonna, or have you thought about the rhino guy? My brain died for a second trying to think of the word for
Yes.
rhino.
Yep.
What you doing? What you doing? What you doing?
Well, let's see. Where's it? So this is the rhino that I have, the Joey by Kuso Toys, produced by My Tummy Toys and Plastic Culture. Illustrated. The illustration is by Rushhead and Aish. Sculptor is Dira Schuschman. And so yeah, I have that. I have not figured out which Pokemon I'm going to do, but I have decided that they're both going to be Pokemon. I have found the Rhino Dunnies that were Huck G heads. That will be the beginning. I'm not going to do a middle. I'm just going to do the little ones, and then the big form, and call it a day.
Well,
oh, dude, we do all the sound effects at work. So it's like,
you would think that you're Italian the way that you talk with your hands.
You know what we should do? I'll write this down now. But so April is Autism Awareness Month, and
is it?
Yeah. So
I didn't know what month it was. Now I feel stupid.
It's all right.
No, that's douchey.
I think I talked about it last year. I might not have. So we should do this, because I do a lot of, I sign a lot at work. I have a fraction of my knowledge. My knowledge on sign language is enough to get me by at work, or just be a little out there. But I also know some weird shit. We should do is like we'll do like guess the sign, Nicole. So like I'll do some hey, good job, Jason. I can't say I finished my first one because I've been finishing up shit from last year, and it's not like, it's just backlog stuff. So good on you. But yeah, so April, we'll do some signs and you can guess what they are. How's that?
Like sign language?
Yeah.
Actual signing?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I've actually been trying to teach myself the alphabet. So
okay.
Let's do it.
All right. Okay. You get the alphabet figured out by April, and we'll do colors one day.
I figured it's important because, like,
don't look up colors, Nicole.
I won't, but you know me and my, like, how I feel about, like, moral obligations.
Yeah.
I feel morally obligated.
That's right. I mean, like, we go out to restaurants, and so I don't know if it annoys Alicia or not. I will sign for like when I want things too. It's like it's just naturally. Some of the shit just comes out naturally. Like when I want water, I ask for it too. I sign for it, and it's just the way it is. But I'll show you this one. This is cool because I showed this to Quicks a while ago. So this is it. Can you see my gloved hand? Okay. So this is a T.
Wait, no, move it closer to you because you started to show it like in.
Yep.
Here, like you're like this.
Right.
Ready? You'll start here and then you'll be like this.
And I'll move it out and be like,
just a smidge out, not like the whole thing.
Doing a Ken Burns effect. All right. So I'm stop touching toys so I can take the gloves off. I don't want my greasy mitts. I put lotion on, so I'm like, put gloves on because you don't want that grease on your toys. All right. So this is a T. Okay. That's a T. T is useful because you can do a lot of shit with it. So when you turn it, it's bathroom. Okay. And I associate it with having to jiggle the handle. Okay. Like, I don't know if that's really why, but jiggle the handle.
I mean, I feel like that's a fair reason.
Now, you get 2 T's and you wiggle them. What do you think that is?
Bathroom. Shower?
Toys.
Oh, but okay. Never mind.
I have no idea why, but it's like, that's a T. And then you got toys. So, yeah. So we could have some fun in April. See if I remember we're going to do this stuff. All right.
Write it down in your show notes so you don't fucking forget.
There you go. All right, cool. So we got Shimron. I primed a bunch of shit this week.
Are you gonna make the dinosaur? The dinosaur. You see, I forgot the fucking word. The rhino.
The rhino. Mm-hmm.
A Pokemon.
Yeah, I'm gonna make both those rhinos Pokemon, and I'll make I just found the Dunnies, and I'll make the Dunnies the little tiny guy incarnations of it. So the problem with the Dunnies have they're the Huck G rhino, and they have a tiny little bird on their heads too, and I don't feel like clipping that off, but I could, and then you just fill in the little hole. But the bodies I'm going to use are from the chess set collection because they don't have legs, and I'm just going to fill in the holes where the arms come from, and just make it one solid like amoeba body with the rhino head on it, because I don't like painting dunny arms because they're so damn little. So I'm just eliminating, and then I don't have to worry about. They
are so small.
They are small, and I do have a use for them. We'll just put that here real quick. I'm going to try and talk and type in dunny arms. So, yeah. And then I don't have dunny arms, and I don't have the possibility of somebody buying it and then scratching up their thing, moving dunny arms. So I just get rid of the possibility altogether. So that's that. All right.
I need. Okay. You know the puzzles that you do?
Mm-hmm.
Can you make them smaller pieces of puzzles?
Could.
Okay, I'll talk to you later about it.
Laser cutter will do almost anything. So
we'll talk about this.
Okay. All right. So toys galore. There you go. Rainy day activity kit. Weekly background sound. What have you been listening to while you're getting your rainy day work boxes?
I'm trying to think of where to start.
Oh my, that's epic.
murder mysteries. There was this show that I did watch, and I actually was like real hella focused on it, so I was kind of annoyed dipping in and out of the room and then pausing it. It was called, oh God, oh no, Stay Close. on Netflix. I want to say that's what it was. I was watching a lot of thriller shit. So like that's definitely that one is a good one. That show you will not see anything coming. And then I watched Midsummer.
Oh, all right.
And then I watched oh god, The Intrusion or The Intruder on Netflix. That was another thriller. And again, like because you as a murder mystery freak here, my brain goes to husband did it. Husband did it. Because that's just how it is. Husband always did it. And in this one, it wasn't the way I thought. And I was like I was wrong. I actually think that the SNL song where they go murder show, everything's a murder show really is about my life. So, yep,
Like
that's it.
Kevin at Mothership turned me on to the Murder Dirter from Saturday Night Live.
Murder.
And then as soon as I got HBO Plus, I'm like binge watching the shit out of that. Like you gotta watch this with me. It's crazy, like the way they talk.
So you have to watch the episode where Chance the Rapper was the host.
Okay.
The second time. Because I think I told you that in Weekend Update, there's like one part of it where like they said something about the Yankees and I thought they were cheering the Yankees and they were talking shit and I went, woo! And like it's very, very light. You have to really listen to hear the woo. But you see Michael Che go like this. And I was like
on Hot Ones, Chance the Rapper. So I will probably be watching that first. And I love Hot Ones.
No, watch the first one of him and then watch the second one. Because you have to see him do I forgot what his name is. He's supposed to be a basketball announcer that's getting like unfortunately put into these other ESPN events like hockey or gaming. And he's like just SNL or he's like it's good. You have to watch it.
All right.
Yay!
All right. So I started speaking of the way accents are, I started listening to the second of 3 stories from Stephen King's Hard Case Crimes and the Colorado Kid. And it's all set in like this. The story starts with them in being this little tiny island of Maine, and the way the voice actor is doing all the accents and shit. I'm like, man, I have to be sitting down so I can decode it. And so like, yeah, there's 3 of them in that series where it's like the Colorado Kid, which I guess is the first one, but they're not linked, so it doesn't matter. Colorado Kid, Joyride, and then I don't remember the third because I haven't started it yet. But I got Alicia the set for her birthday, and it's pretty much like she's going to read it, I'm going to listen to it, and then sometime when we're down there and I'm painting and she's crocheting, we'll listen to it together. So we have old time radio time down there, and that's pretty cool.
Aww.
So, yeah. And like, because I haven't felt like doing much. But I've been binge watching with her The Secrets of the Zoo on Disney Plus, and the first series of it is all about the Columbus Zoo, and there's 4 seasons of it, and they're just showing a lot of behind the scenes stuff about like how the veterinary staff handles things, how the caretakers take care of stuff, all the babies being born, some of the health issues they have with the animals, and it's pretty interesting. Half of it's behavior issues, and I'm like, that's me at work. Like the way they handle like some of the conditioned behaviors, like sometimes when they have things that are just going out of their hands, and they're like, Yeah, he's not doing what I want. And there it is, just sails across the
What is
plane.
it called?
That's me. Secrets of the Zoo.
Secrets.
Yeah, Jason's seen Midsummer too.
That shit
Yeah,
fucked
Secrets
me
of
up
the
at
Zoo.
the end, man.
So like I started the Columbus Zoo with her when I came back, and then she's like, we'll just watch it all over again. She liked it. So I'm like, yeah, sure. And then the next one, then after that, it'll be is North Carolina. And like the Columbus Zoo though is huge. It's got like it actually has two parts. That one of them's like a mile or two away. No, it's an hour away because it's just so massive that it's just super far away. She's like, well, we need to figure out a reason to go down there. I'm like, I got 5 points coming up. I got reason to go that way. I like what we need is a dog sitter, so that way. But other than that,
That's yeah.
all right. So we're just gonna go through there, and then yeah, just go on through, and we're just gonna discuss some. Normally we do one technique of the week, but with everything that's been going on this week, it's just been like an interesting exercise of reestablishing reestablishing behaviors that are on the positive side as opposed to falling into bad or going into the bad behaviors. So start off the top. For my birthday, way back in November, Alicia gave me Rocket Book. Okay. Or a book by Rocket Book. Rocket Book. And what it is this one's spiral bound, and it's got about a dozen sheets of pages in it, and they have their own proprietary pens. Here's the black one, but I got a set of colors over there. So in theory, I have not played with this as much as I could. You write your shit on it, and then you can take pictures of it and then send it to your device, and then you can have like your notes on your device and stuff. And of course, you can do this with other sketchbooks too. But the nice thing about this, and it's proprietary ink, is that on each pen it has a eraser, or you can just wet their proprietary cloth down and wipe it down, and then dry it with the dry end of it, and it's all reusable. So we utilize a more primitive method at work with the sped kids and laminated shit pages and dry erase boards or dry erase markers. But this works out, and I've decided that I'm going to utilize it more. But one of the things that I haven't been doing since last month is the idea of listing out the shit that I should be doing to get my stuff to the finish line, and that's like, if we can see that, we can.
Pokeballs.
This is like the last. This is what takes my Shenron from the. I'd say it's past the 50% mark, but this is what I think will take it to the completed zone or completion. So like I have,
Okay.
and we've talked about in the show book previously about the idea of listing out the priorities, because nothing's more satisfying than actually like crossing it out or erasing off that task. And what I like about this, the same way I write my list out in my sketchbook, is that I do it all in pencil there, so I can erase it. Because what I don't like about lists is once you start inking it out, you may lose something in all that black. So you start eliminating it, and then you only have the black that's showing up on the page. So this is like one of the things of just getting back into the good habit of seeing this. So then it's like you can look at it and see like, all right, this is what has to get done. And then and crossing one thing off the list just snowballs into more and more things getting done.
Oh yeah, because
Like
that check is like getting a gold star in school. You're like,
right on. Like the hardest part for me is starting. But once I start, man, it all gets done. Or like when I turn on my airbrush compressor, it's not because I just need one thing. I am spraying everything. It's like I've pulled it. I've gone down into the basement, and the heater is on, and just like spray everything you can, and that's progress. So, yeah, all right, the Rocket Book. So we're gonna have okay. So here's a extra hack that I'm going to share. So today on Instagram, I shared a small movie, and all it was my photo array for customizer of the year, and it has my photo array scrolling up, and then it has it scrolling down. When it scrolls down, or vice versa, no, it scrolls down, and then when it scrolls up, it's the blacklight version. Because
Okay.
Instagram won't allow you to do an animated GIF, or at least I haven't figured out how. So instead of you can't do an animated GIF, and I wanted to be able to show in one shot how my shit goes from regular light to black light. I was like, I can do that in iMovies. I can set that up, and it will show an autoplay a movie. So 5-second video instead of an animated GIF. We're golden. And like, iMovie is super simple. It's super simple to use. If you're on a PC, there are PC alternatives. I just looked up the idea. I Googled PC alternative or iMovie alternative for PC, and Google has like a million options. A lot of them are open source or freeware and stuff, because yeah. And there are a bunch of options for PC people. There are options if you have the Adobe package. There's Premiere. It's amazing, but it's kind of complicated. But iMovies instead of GIFs for Instagram. That's one. Oh, and I made a switch, and it's because of an error today. Where like on my Shenron, I had a piece that's flat, and I wanted to be able to just have it painted as a flat color, and I washed it off, dried it with a paper towel, and then I sprayed it with a base color white, and I could see every freaking fiber of the paper towel on my toy. It pissed me off, because the lint of the paper towel rubbed off on it. So then I got to spend about 10 minutes wet sanding that shit off to get it white again. And so I use I use these a lot. I don't know why I use paper towel, but I've made the switch to using shop rags, the heavy duty paper towels that you get in a big square box. Anyway,
I love it when you make noise. Like,
yeah, so I use I use shop rags. This is just the generic version of these, but these work so much better than paper towels for when I'm not just doing dishes and stuff. If I have a possibility that I'm going to have lint left on something, I go with these instead of paper towels. And they cost a little more, but saves me a lot of time. And that's what's important. So, real quick technique number 3
sorry.
would be, it's about actually the next 2 are about airbrush maintenance. So
I need this so I can learn.
So yeah, today I ended up, so one of the things I had to do with that Shenron is to varnish it. I had to put a coat of matte varnish on it, and just to seal it up. And I guess this is a 2-parter. Matt, when you spray stuff with your airbrush, and you kind of want to save mode, spray it with a matte varnish, and it'll save what you're doing. Sort of, mostly. It's an automatic save point instead of where you go in and tell it to save a certain area, like video game wise. So you put a layer of varnish. You can do matte or glossy. Both have their advantages. but varnish it with an airbrush varnish, and that'll give you a save mode to where, like, if you paint over it, even whether it's overspray or you just fuck up and you have something over there, it allows you to be able to try and clean it off a little easier, instead of just trying to get it without and rub away some of your very precious sprayed things, parts. And like I said, it's not 100%, because it's quite possible that you can scrub off the varnish and then fuck up your beautiful paint job. But it gives you an opportunity. It increases your opportunity to be able to save your mistakes, fix your mistake. So that's important. I tell that story to tell this one. It's the goddamn varnish that screwed me today, because my varnish ended up being a little thick. So it came out of the airbrush just fine, but it also clogged the hell out of my airbrush. So I had to clean it not once, but twice.
Oh.
And so the second time, I ended up getting a piece of dried varnish debris stuck in the nozzle again. And it's because I pretty much just did a bunch of like, okay, yeah, it looks good. I finally got it cleared, and I put it back together and clogged. And so my recommendation is, if you're going to clean your airbrush, clean it twice. So like, you clean your parts, you get your spot inspection, put it aside for a second, go do something else, then just give it a cursory glance or cursory clean to make sure that you do have all your debris, your residues, and your chambers as clear as possible. Like, as soon as I started spraying, I was like, I did not hold it. I was saying to myself, did you look at it, hold it up to the light to make sure that it's all coming through? I'm like, no, I didn't. There it is. So it was about an hour and a half squandered cleaning my airbrush. Well,
That must have been like,
a little infuriating.
yeah, like I'm just like,
but I tell that story so now I can just give off the idea, like, yes, like whiteboard paper. I love it. So that's one bit of advice. Then the second bit of advice probably is not, you don't need to do it, but I'm going to be in the habit of it now, is I'm going to recommend to sterilize your needles. So the airbrush has a needle in it. It is pointy as fuck.
I'm thinking way off base here. I'm like,
so okay, so this goes into another one. I keep my airbrush needles. And the reason I do is because my airbrush needles are just bent. All right. And you can paint with the bent nozzle. It's just going to be like, instead of shooting true, it's going to be off to the side. So you just make sure you shoot your test and like, all right, we're aiming to the left. Let's correct that way. But I do keep my needles because they're the best size for having to clear the chamber, having to clear the nozzle, do all this stuff. I just treat them like dental picks, okay, for getting all that extra shit out of the airbrush. But today I stabbed myself pretty hard with that needle. And I'm like, oh, it's just been sitting there dusty up on that magnetic strip. Like,
I want to kill you so much.
When was the last time I sterilized that? So I'm like, yeah. How do we do that? We get in the habit of, before we clean, we sterilize the needle. And it might be just like making extra work for myself, but that really freaking hurt today. So yeah, sterilize your needles. And then finally, before we cut this show done, we'll go back to the dunny arms. All right, so I freaking hate painting dunny arms. I don't think I've painted more than 20 dunnies.
Ever?
Yeah, I don't paint many. But I really hate painting the arms. So I just take them off, and normally I'll just throw them away. But
okay,
here's an idea that I do utilize, especially with the bigger paint bottles. is you wash your dunny arm off, and then you can stick that little tiny arm into one of your paint bottles. That's your new paint shaker. And so
I like this idea.
So you just utilize that. I told Aaron that once. Aaron knows I have no love for those arms whatsoever. And then like this past summer, I was like, oh yeah, I found a great use for dunny arms. He's like, oh really? What? Like this? He's like, really? But you had some amazing art movement. Like, no, just making them a little more functional.
You're like, no one said that.
I just said use.
Way to have more faith in me than you should.
So yeah.
God.
I have used a couple of them because I like clip the pegs off, clip the hands off, and then that interesting like top half looks like a little horns or teeth, and that's about as far as I've gone with them. But I'm just turning that little shitty part into something better. But like, so they are little. I have culled all of my dunnies for like the fancy arms that have like some type of like armor on them, and most of those are like designed by Huck G, or at least done on Huck G dunnies. And the chest set, the dunny chest set has some of those pieces that use those same armored pieces, and those are the ones I like to use because they actually have like some type of detail that just turns those little tiny pieces of shit into a paint by numbers. And yeah.
Now I kind of want to find out a whole bunch of dunny arms.
Like, I've seen some people do
Kind of.
this, and I did it. I took a bunch of my dunnies and did this too, where somebody showed, I think, a lamp, right? Imagine a table lamp that just has like a glass body or glass vase for the actual lamp, and you have the light going through it, and they filled the glass body with all their extra duplicate dunnies. And it looked pretty cool having them all stacked like that. I don't have a glass lamp. I have a skull cookie jar down there that's glass, so I just put them all in there. And it looks all right. And it's a fine answer.
I like this idea.
But, yeah. So the hope next week is to have like all kinds of crap done. And I've decided that this year on Instagram that I'm numbering my toys as I post them, so that
Well, like
I can
one for the year, so you can count how many.
Yeah. So the Godzilla's number 1, and we're on the 8th day of the year, and I've only got one toy completed, so I'm a little annoyed about that. But
You have a whole bunch in the
next week,
works.
right? So next week I think it'll be like it'll jump. But that's what I want to do is like every toy is going to get its post, but they're all going to get a number with it, so I can just very much easily track what I'm doing. And it's partly, and it's inspired because of the customizer of the year competition. And it's like,
I was about to ask you if that's what made you think like I want to count, because I know that they were saying like that one person was like, I didn't do 10, and I was like, I don't know if I would actually know the number.
Oh, I made this
unless I had a photo.
You know those old in the 80s, 90s that you had the photo mosaic posters that were big? You could
Yeah.
get like Yoda, and it'd be like nothing but a series of pictures from Star Wars. Where I was like, I found an app that does that. And so I made a picture of, or I took a picture of Puka Immunity, and I was like, all right, let's make this. And it did. It just took every picture from my camera roll. I wasn't able to select which ones I wanted to do. But so like, I jokingly sent that to Jason Forbes. And I was like, look, I made a photo mosaic of all the toys I made for this year. It's just like, that's funny.
Did he feel
but
old?
I can account for like 100 toys for last year, and I'm okay with that. And I know
You
there
know
are
what? You
there are
need to
many.
do 104 because that means that you did 2 a week. You lazy piece of shit.
I think 104. I think that's fair, especially thinking that I'll do designer con and 5 points.
Do you remember what I said to you like multiple times last year? I was like, I hate the part where we do like, what have you been working on? And this is before like you joined the rut. And you're like, I did this and 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 that, oh and that. And I'm like,
But Nicole, I'm an unmedicated
I
obsessive compulsive. It's okay.
I know, but I love it. And then
Yeah.
I'm a medicated like person who can't focus on one thing, and I have 17 things that are never at 50% because they're all at 10 because I find something else to start.
I have a dunny on my table right now. Actually, I'll say I've painted more because of dunnies like this, but I have this one that's been sitting on my table. It's on a stick, so it's on a pencil holder, right? So I've got this Tokyo Jesus Death dunny, and I lost where I took the faces off because it had like these two like kabuki masks on. I don't know where they are. So I'm like, this dunny is like a standing remind. This dunny head is a standing reminder on my table. Find your shit so you can finish it.
But the other day I said, you know what I want to learn? I want to learn how to electroform. And I want to learn how to like metal, like do metal smithing. And I forgot who I said it to. And they were like, keep to the one fucking hobby that you have. And I was like, well, art's not a hobby for me. And oh yeah, it was my friend Erica. And she was like, no, not art, you jackass. Like she meant like like my cooking stuff that I do, like how I made like the falafel, like all those kind of things. And I was like, well, what's so bad about wanting to learn a metalsmith and like electroform and stuff? She's like, because then that will not be a hobby. That will just bleed into you being an artist. And then you'll have, once again, not just 10 projects going on at the same time, all at 10%. You'll have like 90 because you'll be like, oh, look, here's a half ring that I made. Here's a pendant that needs to get like, I'd be like, this she reminded me of when I used to do the clay work, and I posted on my Instagram the other day like, oh, should I do this again, but like put it on toys. And she was like, remember when you did that? Remember that big ass bag of like half finished ones with no cords or any like no gloss on them? I'm like, yeah. And then I found them like 2 days ago, and I'm like, I'm not showing her.
Hope she's not watching this.
I mean, shit, I was 19 years old when I started doing that stuff because it was like to help me get sober, or 20, whatever. And I'm like, we can't count that. And she's like, yes, we can, because you still do it. And I'm like, la, 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 la.
A hard sell, especially for like, I want to start resin casting and I just haven't found the right thing I want to start working on. So all the materials over there waiting.
What about your pup?
I've got forms of it. I have stuff of it. I have like 15, I still have 15 blanks of it.
So when the 15 are done, that could be the first one.
Good.
Getting the heart mold from Brandon is what made me go, ah, fucking hell, I guess I need a pressure pot.
Yeah. So when you use a pressure pot, you use a compressor to pressurize it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I have like the crappy, a crappy airbrush one that I know that you can use for it. And, but Alicia's dad gave us a compressor for Christmas. And it's not what you think. It's Ryobi. So it's not what you think. It looks like a cordless drill, but it's a compressor or pump. So like it uses the same battery that the drills and all their other systems use. So you can use the same battery. It has a pressure gauge on it, and it has a hose. So you can put the tire attachment and other stuff on it. So like, let's say your tire is low, you just come in, put the battery in, take it outside, pull the trigger, and you're inflating your tire with nothing, with
Right.
a handheld device, which seems fucking awesome. And I'm like, I think I'll be pressurizing my pot with that.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that looks pretty cool.
Is it
doesn't
this one?
Yeah.
I could tell you it. I don't think it's going to have enough
Why not?
voltages.
If it'll inflate a car tire, why wouldn't it inflate your pressure pot?
How much PSI can it get up to?
Well, I'm going to assume 35 pounds. So like the pressure pot construction, the pressure pot design that I've seen online, to be able to do, it's not a, looks like I should be able to use the compressor that my old airbrush had. So I'm assuming this will be just as good or viable. If it works, great. If it doesn't, then I have a airbrush compressor downstairs I can use. I'm just hoping that something as small
yeah.
I'm hoping something as small as a power drill is going to work just fine. It's loud as hell though.
Every time I run it, I always feel so bad. And so I kept thinking like my stepdad could hear it. Because I think one time he said to me, like, "Well, that noise downstairs." So then I started getting real paranoid. And then I learned
Oh,
the noise was not from me. And it was like he heard some like banging, and that was definitely someone setting off fireworks down the street. And then the second part was he can't hear shit. Like, okay, so like just for reference, I'll just go straight or back. His room is back and up. My compressor is currently forward. I am switching that because I don't want to sleep underneath where my mother passed and all that. But I'm switching all of that, and it's also bigger back there, so I'll have like way more room for me to have like my ease, like just everything in one room. And he can't hear it when it's in there at all. And then yesterday I was like yelling and I was back there and he couldn't hear that. So I'm like, I'm half tempted just to bring the compressor into the back and just turn it on.
well, you have 4 days, right?
What's the date number?
When's your foot?
5 days. Oh, well,
You got 5
technically
days
4
too.
because the day's over. Yeah.
Okay. You got 4 days. You try it out. So
Yeah,
get
you're
your
fine.
surgery on. Okay. You get your
You're
surgery on Thursday.
Yeah, you're fine with the you should be fine with that compressor.
That's
It says
cool.
that it holds up to, didn't I just have it open? It holds up to, its range is 0 to 150 psi, and most resin casting is like 60.
Okay. So yeah, we that's that's it.
Yay! Now I kind of want to buy that one and just like, since it's not that expensive.
No,
Just
and like
fuck.
the cool thing is like I have like two things in the house that also use that same battery system. So I'm like,
That's
great.
what I'm thinking. Like I
Right.
bought the drill and
Yeah. I love the idea
yeah,
of having
and the
everything on
something.
the same. Yeah, I love
My,
the idea of having everything on the same like system. And
I
like
feel like I'm a
at that,
traitor though, because like my compressor is a DeWalt and my sander is a DeWalt.
but do they use batteries?
No.
Then don't worry about it.
I know, I just
You
felt
get
bad.
to
I felt like I was like betraying.
Nicole, there should be no such thing as brand loyalty.
I don't
You
have
find
brand loyalty in any way,
you
but
find the tools that work for you, and
Yeah.
It's just like
It-
it's just like paint lines. I use like 5 different lines of paint because they all make like a type that suits my need. Like one company makes a good blue, somebody else makes a good green and stuff.
Yeah.
So like that's the way it works.
That's fair. Like for the DeWalt, I did a whole bunch of like just research on like, what was gonna be better than the one I had because the other one started leaking. And
Mm.
like not gonna lie, I bought it, like the DeWalt, and it's amazing. And it came with an air nail gun.
Mhm.
And I was like, I don't need this. eBay.
All right. I want to answer this question, but I think you've had more experience with resin casting than me. So Jason asks, are pressure pots vacuum pressure?
Oh.
No, no. So you use,
If
I'm
you're
gonna ask,
thinking of a vacuum chamber like to take bubbles out of like silicone, whole different like thing.
so you have a vacuum chamber for the silicone and you have a pressure pot to cast it, put
Mhm.
resin in. Okay. Would you ever put the resin, if the resin is slow enough cure, let's say a 2-hour cure, would you put it in the vacuum chamber before you pour to get the bubbles out, or would you just do the pour into the mold?
Yeah, you could take the bubbles out with a vacuum.
And then you pour it into the thing, and then
Yeah,
you
you can
pour
do
it into the
that.
mold. And then would you still pressure cast it?
I can't answer that very well.
Okay. I would assume so.
I would
Like,
say I'm too new to that, but I would say yeah, because it still has the same viscosity at that point. You just remove the bubbles.
so you like you so you if it's a long, because like if it's a 15-minute cure time, you wouldn't would you put it in the vacuum chamber and then pressure pot? But that's too much time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. There
I
you
have
go.
a link that I'm gonna send him. I'll send it to him.
Because like what I do like about Smooth On is they very much have they do tell you, and they have like on their site and in their products, they do describe like why you would have like the cure time, etc., for like things like how long it would be in the pot, how long it takes to, how long you have to mix, how long you can have it
Yeah.
sit, how long you can have it, how long does it take to cure, and I really like that.
Illumilite does that too now, which is really nice.
Like,
Thank God.
well, there you go. I'm sure a lot of them do it.
Pot life, mix time, yeah, all of that. Thank God, because not everyone does that. Like a lot of the art
Right.
resin, like to put on canvases and stuff like that, it's
You
just
know,
pot life and cure time. That's it. And you're like,
so you have to finish, so you get to play with it, you get to fuck around and find out.
basically. And before I started using like casting resin from like stuff
Mhm.
like this, I like I was doing a lot of those flat molds, like how like a lot of like resin crafters do, and I had the hardest time figuring out like the right timing, the right way, which resin was going to hold my ink drops the right way, because like a lot of them have the same viscosity, but just it's a different resin, and
Oh.
it wouldn't let me do it, and I'm like, what the fuck? So like there's good and bad. It's good for glossing and like doming your stuff.
Oh.
I like using like art resin, not specifically the brand art resin. I'm not giving anybody like promo here. Artist resin. Artist resin.
Mhm.
I like using that with like a silicone brush to like gloss over things instead of like hitting it with a spray sometimes.
Oh,
Makes it nice and like a hard little shiny coat.
sure. Yeah, you
I'll
want that
find out that
vacuum.
answer though with the we'll have the answer. Next
All right,
week.
that's cool.
I already
Next week?
wrote it down in my notes. We could thank
Tune in next
Jason
week
for
when
me
we're here.
utilizing my notes more.
There you go. Oh, all right. Well, we've been going on for almost 2 hours.
Have we?
It's been fun, informative, and very opinionated. All right, so we're gonna end the show now. I'm gonna wish you good luck on your surgery. Let me know how you feel when you get out. And yeah. So Nicole, please tell everybody where they will be able to find you.
In 5 days, my bed. But on Instagram, the .madhatches, and then with Richard over here on Facebook, but it's Nicole Alexandra there.
I never show my Facebook one. I am Rick Stroh on Instagram, RICSTROH. We're here for the good vibes, and remember a couple rules about Paint Club. 1, always talk about Paint Club. And 2, don't scratch it. And number 3, wash it. All right. Everybody have a good week. Thanks for watching. If you're watching this in the future, I have no funny time travel joke. I wish I did. But yeah,
And if you're
thanks a
watching
bunch.
it in the past, it doesn't get better.
It does too.
Not-
Hey, thanks, Jason, for watching along.